So, Daniel, who is David Lynch to you as an artist and filmmaker? Or is he something beyond that?
I think he would probably think of himself as an artist in a general sense, but I think to me, he's primarily a filmmaker and a painter and a thinker, most of all, a kind of a creative mind.
What was your first encounter with his art? And how did you evolve into his zeitgeist from there to become somewhat of an expert?
Well, the first thing that I ever heard or saw was the soundtrack to Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, which
Wow,
led me into the film, and then Bravo TV was running the series in the 90s.
nice.
And that was the entry point for me, which is actually kind of the wrong entry point because it's a prequel. You're supposed to watch the series first. But for me, it was fine, and it was really
Yeah.
the right way to get into it. And that just led to a love affair with uh, his voice and his creative works and I think really through music was the initial
Interesting.
entry point for me.
What was the film you saw post seeing the Fire Walk with Me and then this series?
Blue
Blue
Velvet,
Velvet. That's a
which
good
all
one.
which in its way is also a Twin Peaks prequel. Like a lot of the tones
True.
are there, a lot of the logs and Kyle MacLachlan's characters,
Yeah.
sort of like a naive Agent Cooper in a lot of ways. So it really felt like kind of a bookend in a way.
So when is David Lynch moving through time playing, and what can audiences expect at the festival?
David Lynch Moving Through Time is playing April 11th through 20th, and these are long, full days, and they can expect to come early for my pre-shows, which are consisted of, clips, interviews, short films, various things that they've probably never seen on the big screen before, and they
Nice.
can expect to stay late for a lot of surprises. We have special guests. We have amazing guests. We have Dwayne Dunham, the editor of Wild at Heart and Blue Velvet, speaking with
Nice.
with those. We have Frederick Elms, who's going to speak with Blue Velvet and Eraserhead on opening night. We have
Nice.
Charlotte Stewart, who played Mary X in Eraserhead. So many more. And then Scott Ryan of the Blue Rose magazine uh, is doing all of the Q&As. I'm introducing all the films, but I'm not a great interviewer, so he's going to be doing that, and he's going to do that really well. I think people can expect to see things that they've never seen of his. I would hope. I've seen everything, and I've seen every little last thing, and I feel like I've found new things I hadn't seen before in putting this together, and I feel like casual fans and serious fans alike are going to find something for them here, and it's a great way to just see the totality of his work in one place and be with people who share that interest and that passion for his work.
That's beautiful, man, and congratulations. That really was beautiful.
Thank you.
And never put a barrier up on yourself. Never say I'm not a good this because
Oh, that,
your expertise will always win the day. All right?
well, thank you. I appreciate that. I
No worries.
appreciate the encouragement.
No worries, my friend. Okay, so where or in which film is the heart and atmosphere of David Lynch? And where should a new person to his works begin?
That's a very interesting question because David Lynch refers to the pivotal scene of a movie as being the eye of the duck, which is to say the integral piece that everything is drawn to. So that's an interesting question because I hadn't really considered what might be the eye of the duck in his career, in
Interesting.
his the totality of his work.
Right.
I do think that, for me, I have three answers to that because I can't just have one.
Sure.
But the three answers would be Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, and Dumbland, which is my one of my all-time favorite things that he did, and not many people know about it.
Yeah.
It's an animation that he did, and it's to me it has uh, to me a little bit of the promise of all of his work is in this very silly, quick animation that he made, but it is like to me the eye of the duck, one of the eyes of the duck in his work.
That's beautiful. Okay, final journalism question. Why does David Lynch still matter to cinema, art, and as a subset, America?
That's a very big question, and I'm going to do my best to answer it adequately. I know that I will have a longer answer to this after I already say what I'm going to say, but
You'll wake up in the middle of the night saying, "I got it." No, okay.
yeah. Well, I think that he's a person who found his own voice very distinctly and found out how to speak in his own language very distinctly. And I think that if an artist can get at something that deep and then get it out into the world and be confident in it and collaborate with it and sort of broadcast that very clear signal of who they are, that artist will always be important, because that's the nature of being creative is trying to express yourself. And when I encountered his work, it was such a vivid and true expression that it made me want to look for that expression in myself.
This is Patrick McDonald for HollywoodChicago.com. Copyright 2025.